and welcome to, once again, the strongest Warhammer podcast out there in the world, in the universe, I would dare say. Strength Hammer Podcast, episode 113, with me, Chuck,
Hello.
and Alex.
Yeah, we're the strongest podcast until somebody who's actually strong decides to start talking about Warhammer, and then we're out of the competition.
If you are stronger than us, which there's plenty of people out there who are, and you want to talk about Warhammer in a podcast, well then, just come over here and be a guest. Like, let me keep the title, all right?
Let us have this. This is important.
It's all I have. No,
That's all I have.
it's all I live for.
Uh,
Shout out to the 591 subscribers who are with us. Boom. You guys are the real OGs. Hmm.
Hi guys.
Yeah. But Alex, how are you doing today?
Oh, so good, man. I'm in a different cop shop today, so if you see
Yeah.
people walking behind me, that's why.
I say look a little different, look a little different. I think I know which one you're at.
Yeah,
I won't dox you.
you can if you want to visit me. I'm
Oh.
not going to give you my address, but we talk about where we're from all the time.
I know. It's pretty easy to figure out where we live, but um anyway. Yeah, no, I'm glad you're in a nice coffee shop. I got my coffee
hmm
too. Um
Yes, got a
it's,
coffee.
it's a big day. It's a big day for me personally.
Yes,
Um
that's right.
I after 2.5, 3 years since I left my prior job with my new job. My prior job wouldn't let me keep my hair long. Why? Because they're fucked up corporation, and I don't
Sure.
miss them.
Yep.
Uh,
Stupid rules.
stupid rules. Um, my new job lets me have it, but what I've been wanting to do forever is grow my hair and donate it. So I'm going to get it cut. So actually, between now and the second half, when I record with Neil later, you'll see from super long hair to my shorter hair, which you see in like my profile pictures everywhere
Yeah.
technically.
What are you thinking? Like back to like short hair?
Well, it's gonna be like the if you look at like my Instagram
Mm-hmm.
or Twitter picture, it's that. So it's gonna be like still long on top, just short on the sides.
Gotcha. It's
So
funny this is such an old picture because like you're definitely way more muscular now. So it doesn't give you
I
justice. Do you justice when
it
you're like
it doesn't, but also I think I was slightly leaner in that picture. And
so that's slightly
I
more
have not
defined.
fought to lean out in a long time.
We got to
So
we got to get you a pump and then just like get a massive photo,
I need to
a
do
mass monster.
like a cut for like a month, and then yeah, like we just do like a big pump session, and just
Yeah,
get that picture, and then
that'd be
anyway,
sweet.
I'm excited for that. That's why hair's gotta dry. I gotta do all that stuff. It's kind of fun. My wife's gonna braid it for me
Yeah.
before I go, but
Aw, that's
more
sweet.
more importantly, more regularly. Alex, how's your lawn?
Oh man, lawn is great. Actually, I don't think I had to cut it since last time that my father helped cut it.
Okay.
Pretty sure. Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
yep, yep, yep.
That's about it.
It's
It's
nice.
been colder here. We're kind of hitting a cold season. It's rainy, but it is cold. So yeah, it's. I honestly, if I'm honest, I don't think I thought about it since last time we talked about it.
That's fair. We are reaching that time. More of the Warhammer crew around us is losing the game of having to turn the heat on for their significant others.
Hmm.
There's a surprising one person left in the group who's still hanging on somehow, but
Incredible,
his wife
incredible.
his wife's apparently going through hot flashes right now, which is helping, I think. So yeah.
Yeah, I had to succumb. My parents are living with me right now. They're in the process of changing houses,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously they don't want to. They're
Freeze.
older, so they don't want to freeze. So I had to put the AC on or the heat
Heat
on.
on. That's fair. That's fair. Actually, I just realized I still have a AC unit in the window upstairs, like one of the
Oh yeah,
yeah,
take it off.
because all of our PCs are up there other than this one, so it's like it gets hot. So, yeah, I need to
Right.
get that one out. But um, back to the lawn. My lawn is doing all right.
Important topic.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah. I think I was right. I'm gonna have the three cuts actually, so I'm
Okay, good,
probably
good.
gonna get it cut in tomorrow or at least Saturday.
Okay.
And then I'm just gonna wait until right before Thanksgiving, or if there's an early snow for something, do it right before that, and then boom, put everything away.
Yeah, good call.
Yep, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
Lawns are we have to figure out what we're going to talk about besides lawn because we're going to get snow eventually, but I don't think it's going to happen for probably a
Um,
month and a half.
it'll probably be me complaining about deadlifting so much and doing deadlift accessory work because that's been my gym life lately because of the 500
Yeah,
pound deadlift chase.
that's fair. That's fair.
I said I don't know if I'll make it, but oh my god, like here, like my traps and like neck
Yeah.
are just so tight because I'm doing a lot of static holds too, just to kind of
Sure.
like
Oh, I see.
increasing weight for 30 seconds just to get used to holding that much weight again.
Sure, sure. So you're doing a lot of the deadlift work then.
Pretty much, I'm still doing like the usual uh you know 3 day split right now, but all of my accessory work is just deadlift focus. Like
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. That's
like
cool.
yesterday, like my accessory work was actually just 135 on the bar and just slow and steady and just like make sure that my movement is just
Like good
precise.
form,
Yeah.
smooth. Yeah, activating the muscle supposed to activate.
Yeah,
Nice.
like really focusing on that. Which is a surprising kick your ass type of workout for an accessory
Oh
thing, but
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, absolutely. That's cool.
Yeah, no, I'm digging it. But outside of that, we got a topic today, right?
We got a topic,
We do
yes.
got a topic. It's about it's well, it's sort of twofold. It ties into the main core topic, but you know, it's a way for us to help you guys remember that you, and even us, because like we forget it too sometimes. You are in competition with yourself whenever you're going to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Mm-hmm.
everybody else. I'm not going to be Ronnie Coleman. Alex, despite his cosplay, is not going to be Sam Sulek.
Come
Yeah,
on, I'm almost as big as him.
you're twice as kind. You know, he's a
Aw,
pretty kind dude, and I can
aw,
guarantee you're twice as kind.
that's very kind of you
Um,
to say.
yeah,
That means a lot.
I'll say he's a very kind individual. That's not discouraging him in any way. It's just bumping you up. Um,
Aw. Thanks, bro.
yeah, but as you mentioned before we started recording, that like what's the benchmarks you want to look at to help you make sure you compare
Mm-hmm.
yourself to other? Because you know essentially like you don't need to rush through this. This is a journey.
Sure.
Um, even though the newbie games kick in, so I guess we should
Sure.
start with you're brand new in the gym.
Sure.
So
Yeah, so basically what we're talking about is markers of progress. Like how do I know if I'm progressing with my health and fitness journey? And I think we'll just talk about any markers. We're going to mention any of the ones we can think of,
mhm.
so people listening can kind of relate to some of them.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be
Uh,
kind of free flowing. And I think the first and foremost one is um, just going to the gym on a set
mm,
schedule. I think is your first marker of improvement of your health and fitness. Because it doesn't matter if it's been a week, 2 weeks, a month. As soon as you start realizing that you've set aside that time and putting forth the effort, like this is my time to go improve my
yeah,
health, no matter how far along you are, that is a great first flag to be like, boom, I'm actually doing what I want to do, which is improve my health and fitness.
yeah. I love that actually. I like that. I love that as the first one, just showing up and the discipline of showing up, the mental fortitude it takes to show up to the gym
Mm-hmm.
consistently. That's definitely a marker of progress. Once that becomes maybe I'm not sure easy if is the right word, but once that becomes a part of your life, uh, and just an ingrained part of your life, it's definitely a sign that you've progressed from where you started.
Absolutely. And the only time I've ever had it that sort of break, um, like where that, like I got sick for like week and a half, 2 weeks with the flu. This was
Hmm.
years ago, and then that's the only time I ever had to like mentally rebuild myself because you go 2 weeks without going to the gym, you feel awful. Like when you're finally feeling healthy, you're just happy to be healthy.
That's right.
But typically, yeah, once you get that going, like that never ends for you.
Absolutely. And it's funny how people don't even think about that as a marker of progress. But how many times have we heard of somebody starting their journey and then like falling off for a year or years, right?
Yeah,
And then starting again. So they never actually got to the point where that becomes a normal part of their lifestyle. And we all go through seasons. I'm not talking about that, but taking care of your health and fitness, however that looks like for you, exercise wise, should be a part of your life.
yeah. Even if it's starting out as like I'm taking a walk every day.
Yeah, simple as that.
That doesn't have to be a specific gym. So that's my favorite way to start looking at it because like I'm sure you see it too, Alex, with with the training and everything that you do for folks. Um, that those New Year's resolutions kick in and people get motivated, but then they don't develop the discipline and they fall off, and it's
Yeah,
a bit of a cycle, unfortunately.
yeah,
But
absolutely. I'm going to go completely opposite side of the spectrum.
sure,
We're talking about like discipline and fortitude. I'm going to say improvement in composition,
okay,
body composition of some kind, right? So whether you're looking to build muscle, if you're looking just to lose fat, or if you're looking to build muscle and lose fat, that's the obvious one. So we should mention it early on,
right.
right? If you are building muscle, you're progressing. If you are somebody who has fat to lose and you're losing fat, you are progressing, right? Get this one out of the way. It's what we're that's what most people are starting to go to the gym for,
Yep.
right? And it is a marker of progress. Like, we can be honest about it. That, like, hey, I do want to build muscle. Hey, I do want to lose fat. And if it's happening, you are progressing. Good job.
Exactly. And a way to look at that too is because it is very hard to see that in yourself because you're with yourself every day and you're not going to see that slow incremental growth. Is uh, my favorite way is how do your clothes feel
Sure. Yep.
early on? Like, does it feel more comfortable around the places where you're like, you have the belly fat? Does it feel tighter around the places like your chest and shoulders?
Very
For a
important.
guy,
Hmm.
women's kind of different areas of the body, obviously, but um, that's my favorite way. And the second, over the long period, is pictures of yourself. If you look back over your journey, you go, "Oh, I've changed a lot."
Hmm.
Because even still, and I'm sure you do too, Alex. Like you and I walk around like we're still in our young normal bodies. Like we know like the power that we kind of have, like to lift things up. But like I ran into like I was like gaming last night with the crew. I ran into a table 4 times. Like my hip, like I just kept running into it over and
It's too
over.
wide, man.
Yeah, because I was just like, oh, I'm fine. I can fit through this. And like, I could not fit through that. I'm just like, oh, I'm a dumbass.
That's hilarious. The glutes are just so thick.
Oh, just chunky. Um, yeah, but for another marker for me, like a specific marker, it's gonna be that. Well, it's kind of an odd one because it's not all encompassing, but when you start to realize that you shift other parts of your life to help your health and fitness. So like going to the gym's
Mm.
easy, and then you go, oh well, if I eat a little better, I can do better in the gym. Um, maybe like okay, let's not have that nightcap. Let's not have that midnight snack. Let's just okay, it's
Hmm.
like that sort of thing. That's another marker of I think progress that people kind of overlook where it's like I am using other I'm use I my gym is my goal to get better with health and fitness. How can I
Hmm.
improve that from the peripheries of not actually just going to the gym?
Yeah. Yeah, it starts bleeding into other areas of life, like sleep, like hydration,
Hmm.
like nutrition. Those are kind of the first few obvious ones. Alcohol intake, right? Can't tell you how many times I had a client who just, drank alcohol on the regular, and we don't even really talk about it too much, and they naturally just drink less alcohol because
Yeah,
now they're tracking their intake, and they're like, oh, you know what? It's kind of not worth it, and I don't really enjoy it as much as I enjoy seeing progress at the gym.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. That's great.
very good. I would say my fourth one is, you could argue we talked about it, but strength and confidence.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think I think that stands on its own as a separate one
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. If you, especially once you get past the initial, just like, walking and just moving a bit more, once you actually start being consistent with strength training, or even if you do a cardiovascular activity where you get better at it, it feels good to be stronger, right?
Yes.
I would argue specifically resistance training. I mean, I like cardio, but specifically resistance training, there's something about being strong for both men and women, right? Because women typically, I mean, most women I've worked with most of their life weren't really strong,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
And then you get them to resistance training, they're like, oh, I can pick up my heavy dog and move him around. I can, lift things up for myself in the
Can do
plane and put them in the,
can do a
you know,
push up. Can do a pull up,
can do a
which
push up. Well, yeah. So
it's great
but for
stuff.
guys especially, so because it's just, it improves your confidence, it improves the way you carry yourself, and it feels good to be strong.
It does. Yeah. It's was it, I think it's Mark Bell's saying strength is never a weakness and weakness is never a strength. Like it's just like it's a simple way to put it,
Mm,
but like it's
it's
true.
simple.
Yeah.
It's just reality. Yeah.
Hmm. Well, I was gonna actually mention sleep, but yeah, I mean you kind of touched on it. It kind of just ties into like noticing that, but I think another like area of marker is just especially if you have a significant other. Or just
Mm,
someone you're close to you see regularly, like a good friend, like I said, a wife, a husband, even a parent or something. You're going to notice over time that they'll notice the change more than you because they see you, whereas you're not looking in the mirror the whole time. So, whenever you get those, I guess, those compliments of it's like, oh man,
yes.
you're looking nice and you're looking big and strong, you're looking great. Like, oh, you're carrying yourself, like you said, you're carrying yourself better. Just like those outside um, reinforcement, and don't just throw them away. Like, don't just go like, "Oh, I'm just
Oh
going to
my
the gym."
goodness.
But no, like
Absolutely.
you got to put them in your back pocket whenever you need that discipline is failing you. So
Absolutely. Yeah. Consistent positive feedback from others is a good sign. And I think especially as men, we tend to be like, no, 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 they're just saying it to be nice to me, right? And by the time it happens for the 10th, 30th, 100th time, you're like, okay, maybe there's some value to it.
Maybe I am
A good
strong.
yeah, a good example to me is like I never actually feel like I look like I lift, even though I'm like very confident that other people think like I look like I lift. I
Yeah.
don't think I look like I lift, right?
Oh yeah,
But
I'm in the same boat. I'm the same boat. I feel
yeah,
like I'm just
and
like
it's
a
so
fat
silly.
slob that doesn't do anything.
Yeah, exactly. And but it's so silly because like I was buying protein bars in the store and the lady was like, "Oh, those are for you," and I'm like, "Mm-hmm." It's like, "Huh, do you bodybuild?" I can tell, and I'm like, "That's not what I would think when I look at myself, right?" So consistent positive feedback from loved ones, family, strangers, anybody.
I guess it's little point 0.5 version of that. When you finally develop body dysmorphia, that's when you know you've made progress in the gym. Because it's
That's
unfortunately
hilarious.
a thing that can happen, and
Yeah,
like it's like but
absolutely.
like not that you beat yourself up over it. You just don't realize how much progress you've made.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen to that feedback, right? Like actually
Yes,
take it to heart.
yes.
'Cause it's very easy to be hard on yourself, and there's some value there even,
Mm-hmm.
but also recognize your progress and how far you've come.
Exactly.
Good. My next one is going to be mental health,
Good,
right?
good, good.
It's good to notice it, but if you're somebody who deals with any kind of mental health, which I would say most people deal with a little bit with it, anxiety, depression, self-worth, whatever it may be, um, it's not only anecdotally proven. So like I've seen it, I've seen it in my clients. It's now like scientifically proven. We have many
Mm-hmm.
studies that show that exercise in general is really good for your mental health, but specifically resistance training more so than any other exercise has been shown to significantly improve mental health in young kids, adults, just consistent improvement in it. And you will notice it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. Anytime I've had a rough time, a hard workout always helps. I never feel
Hmm.
worse after a workout.
Never.
Even
Yeah.
whenever I've been with you, and like I've like like oh like had a back pop on a deadlift or something, like it's like it sucks, but like I'm not just like I'm not. It's like I'm glad I went to the gym. I'm glad I did something. And even like after like hurting yourself, it's like all right, I'm gonna try and work around this like injury. That's just what it
Hmm.
is now. So I've never had a bad time in the gym, which is good.
Absolutely.
The last one I think I have here to just kind of bring up to touch upon is, well, I mean, there's the saying you hear it all the time. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Like
Okay.
having that floating pain as someone, and like I said,
Mm.
I definitely notice it as like when I power lift. No, yeah, when I power lift a lot more, obviously. But like right now, my traps are very sore. But like it could be my legs in a few days. It could be like just like like oh, what my random biceps just sore from something I did. But like that floating pain and soreness isn't bad. It's kind of like a friend because it's just always there and it just moves around. If you're newer to lifting, like don't be afraid. This isn't to call that out, but like if you're an experienced lifter, you understand what I'm saying. Like
Hmm.
that pain is always with you, but it always reminds you of the work you're putting in. And if you always have something that's kind of sore, it means you're putting in the work. I feel, and like you're moving into that
Absolutely.
more intermediate to advanced level of lifting, which is a good way marker of progress.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're not talking, just to be clear, we're not talking about injury here,
No, no,
right?
no. Just
Injury is not good
my
in
my
general.
traps are sore from using them appropriately. That's
Yes.
it.
We're
That's
talking
fine.
about muscular soreness, which is great.
Yes.
And it's funny because people would argue that muscle soreness is not a marker of progress. But it doesn't
Which
have to be necessarily,
yeah, but maybe just like
but
not it doesn't bother me that I'm sore. Maybe that's the progress
right,
we take out of this.
right. But also the fact that like if your muscles are sore, you probably train close to failure,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's great. That's a good sign that you're working hard at the gym.
Yeah. So that's good. What
Yep.
about do you? Do you have one
Yeah,
more?
I have one more, and then I think, and this one is a bit more vague, but it's
Sure.
maturity in your journey, right? So
Mm.
maturing in your health and fitness journey, recognizing that it's okay sometimes to scale down, right? And for example, if you go 5 6 days a week to the gym and you're having all kind of gains and you're doing really well, but then life happens and you have to get a second job or spend more time with the kids or whatever, and you scale down to 3 days a week because that's what works the best for you, but you don't stop, that's a sign of me that you're progressing in your health and fitness journey
Mm-hmm.
because you recognize you've matured. You don't have to go pedal to the metal, pedal to the floor all the time,
Yeah.
right? It's about progress and consistency over perfection. So to me, that maturity is a good sign of progress as well.
Right, because you're trying to achieve your level of satisfaction in life with your fitness. So not
Hmm.
everyone has to be powerlifting. No, not everyone has to be Jay Cutler huge or world's strongest man. Like you'll find your level of like it's like I want to pick my kids up and not be out of breath when I play with them and not look
Hmm.
like I'm overweight in photos. Okay, that's great.
Yeah,
That's you're not done. You're never done, but like you can maintain when you reach the point of happiness. Um,
exactly.
Although it always feels like it's always once you get going, like it's like just a little more, just a little more, just a little
Yeah,
more.
and both are good, right? It's good to
Yes,
push yourself, but it's also good to recognize when you need to scale down but not stop.
right, and it's also good to keep in mind too. I guess just it ties in with this. You know, you're gonna see huge guys on social media whenever you get into health and fitness or YouTube. Like you're watching clips of how to train, how to do different things, and get knowledge. Um, they they've been at this longer. They are doing different things than you possibly. So don't feel like you have to. Oh, Larry Wheels was benching 500 for reps. You don't have to ever do that in your life. Like don't
Yeah.
compare yourself to that. He's a beast and he's doing that because that's what he wants. For
Hmm.
you, if 225 might be what you're a beast with, like don't feel like you have to be like everybody else you see out there. You have to be the best version of you, not a
Exactly.
better version of somebody else.
Exactly. Exactly it. I love that. And just keep in mind, like social media, you see the best of the best, right?
Yeah,
With the best genetics, the best discipline, the
best
best
lighting.
commitment, the best lighting. But even like the fact is, like they're the people who are putting in the most work, which is awesome. But if it's not your job, you're not going to be doing that, right?
Right.
And we haven't even talked about PDs and tests and all that.
Yeah, well, I mean that's its own subject and
It's a given, yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah.
um and since we don't use those, I don't, it's hard to talk about it, on
Sure.
an educated level. Go talk to Dr. Mike. Yeah.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
Someone
yeah.
who's
Dr. Mike
someone who lives in
or more
that
plates,
world,
more
yeah.
dates. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. um
Derek.
but yeah, that's it. Like I said, just we hope everybody out there like just compare yourself to yourself, enjoy your journey, find those markers. And like if you have a marker that we missed that you just like, oh, I realized this at this point, let us know in comments below. We keep sharing that knowledge. Let's build that community together down there. Like and subscribe,
Absolutely.
all that. Bang bang. I don't know. Um, well, with the health and fitness portion uh, done and dusted with a little bow on it, Alex Fithammer, what's your hobby like
Yes.
lately? Were you dreading this?
Yeah, it's non-existent. It's a very high. It was a high last week, and
Yeah,
then
you were.
plummeted this week.
Okay.
Yeah, not unfortunately nothing, like truly nothing this week. And I could have created time for it, but community and life and relationships and 3 jobs right now are just not allowing for a lot of time. I
Yeah.
could create time, by the way. So if I prioritize, I could create time. So I'm not making this an excuse, uh, but I just haven't.
No, that's fine. It's with where you're at. Out of those things you listed, Warhammer would be the thing I'd put on the side too. Like, well, I mean, painting, I guess. Like, you'll probably still
Sure.
get a game in here and there, but
Oh yeah,
um,
yeah. And I'm on like social media, interacting with people into work. Like that's still happening.
yeah,
I'm not leaving Warhammer. It's just the actual hobbying part of it has been kind of on the back burner.
which that's fine. Truth be told, slight spoilers until I talk to Neil, but I'm looking here to my left where I keep my backlog. It's empty. The last of my
Oh
hobbies on my desk right now. Now
wow!
I did order that stupid Stormcast terrain piece, as you said I
You
would.
folded.
I did, because I have the army,
uh,
so I'll buy the terrain piece. So
right, right,
that'll
right.
be, I guess, on next week I'll have it. But like that will be I'll paint in a freaking day. 'Cause it's a terrain piece, whatever. Um, yeah, but I'm probably about to enter a phase where not gonna be a lot of hobby because there's just nothing I
Yeah,
want to hobby with, which is fine.
strength hammer back to status quo. No, no backlog.
No backlog and probably a lot more freaking retro video Game Boy mod repairs on my social media feed. So get ready, everybody.
Woo!
Yeah, but anyway, Alex, thank you again for your time today.
It's great.
Uh, we will now take that short break and we'll pause and we'll go over with Neil and we'll talk about the topic of the day, which is all about not giving in to that FOMO feeling that all corporations want you to have, specifically with
Sure.
wargaming. How do you not feel like you have to buy everything? And what's the few items that like maybe you should try and get right away because it's not going to come back in stock quickly from past records. So that's the topic. So
Good topic. A
you know,
lot of wargamers need that.
we do. I think you've been through it. I've been through. We've all been through it. I feel like myself and I've talking to Neil. Like him and I are pretty much over. We've gotten past that. I feel you've gotten past it too. You don't seem to impulse buy too much.
For the most part, yeah.
But it'll be a fun topic. So we'll see you guys on that other side. And we are now back once again. I've decided to match Neil's what's it, vibe freak, whatever it is, as much as possible and take off most of my hair.
I see this. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I
You're
got
halfway there. Maybe more than halfway with how much hair you had.
that. I was over 12 inches. I have it all braided up. I got the form to fill out to do the donation that I'm doing for Children's for Hair Loss. But yeah, my head's cold. I don't know. I legit don't know how you do that. Like, I was like, I don't like this.
It's crazy. Like the first time I shaved my head, it was, I mean, it feels like 10 degrees comes off your body. Like,
Yeah.
for sure.
Like,
And then you get really used to it and you put a hat on, you're like, God damn, it's hot.
I know, like I'm walking around and like just with the hoodie up, I'm like, I'm cold.
Mhm.
It's okay. Now I get to grow it out for another 2 years and do it all again.
There you go.
Well, Neil, how have you been doing lately?
I've been good. Busy, but good. Playing a lot of Blood Bowl. Probably shouldn't be. Probably should be painting models. And it's not the tabletop Blood Bowl. We're playing the computer version. So,
Oh, okay. What's some fun hobby? Tell me about it. How'd that?
well, I would, I'd like to say that I'm getting good at it, but the AI in Blood Bowl 3 is garbage.
Just brutal.
I'm very good at beating a very poor AI. So, that probably makes me a very bad Blood Bowl player. But it's time to start playing. I'm trying to level up my guys so I can play some of these jokers that have, uh, these teams that are just outrageous. So,
Oh yeah, yeah. Did you get any star players on your team yet? Like to rent any?
no. So in Mike and Terry's league, like actual tabletop league, they do not allow star players. So I'm trying to keep myself from having any star players on the team at
Gotcha,
the moment.
gotcha.
So
That's fair. No, Blood Bowl, it's a good game. I played a lot of Blood Bowl 2 on PC, and I have a Blood Bowl team, so I know eventually you're going to drag me into playing real Blood Bowl because you're getting Blood
oh,
Bowl
for
models
sure.
printed.
Oh yeah.
So,
Maybe perhaps in January if there's a little downtime.
oh, there will be downtime, I'm sure. I'll make sure I put it in the car. But yeah, any other hobby besides getting a Blood Bowl team kind of sorted and printed and well, no, you're not getting that
Well,
printed yet. You got High Elves printed coming, right?
I had a great dad moment
Ooh,
last night. My son, who is, if you allow him, he will play video games and watch YouTube for 24 hours a day. So we have to put the kibosh on that every once in a while. And so I said, "Boom, you done our screens? Nothing." Dad, play chess with me. And I was just like, I'm not feeling very good right now, bud. Stomach's a little upset. He's like, well, he goes, you got something I can build? You got something I can put together? I was just like, I got models downstairs, man. And he's just like, yeah, let's do that.
ooh,
And so
nice.
he's got that lizardman army and or Seraphon as it is, and I'm looking for this Triceratops that he started working on, never finished. I can't find it for the life of me, but I did find that it was the very first Warhammer Plus free um, that came with the subscription, and it was the Badsrog neck chopper, something like that.
Oh
And
yeah, yeah,
he
yeah.
still fit in the box. It's like, you want to build this guy, dude? It's like, yeah. So he built up, did a great job, looks great. So got
So
another orc in my life.
45 years from now, he's gonna be like having a core memory come back. He's like, my dad let me build like one of the rarest Warhammer models that exists.
Yeah,
What? I did such a poor, and he's gonna like freak out as he's like
yeah.
in this
And here I am,
hobby.
like, I didn't realize just how big that guy is. He comes on a big base,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like looking at him because I'm like, I'll have him build this because he could be easily, fit into my orcs and goblin tribes army, right?
Yeah,
In fantasy. Uh,
as a
but
as a as a troll.
I don't know if he can fit on even the bigger bases. I don't think that. I mean, I'm gonna have to really wedge him on there.
I want. Well, if you could probably kit bash and put him on a chariot.
Oh,
Like you might have to not resculpt, but like kit bash like out some planks and stuff so he can actually stand on it. But I bet
yeah.
you could get him on a chariot.
I bet you we could. Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Nice. That's good. That yeah, a little that's some wholesome hobby time. Finding a
Yeah.
new game, learning to play it, and having time with your little one, just building some models, getting away from the
Mhm.
screen time.
Yep.
Well, let's see. I did had some hobby myself. Let me bring it up here. Boom. On screen, we got the Fortified Manor, which was supposed to be my winter project. I don't know what happened. It's just too fun. This kit is so gorgeous to paint. Even like the
Yeah.
even the touch ups, I'm having to go back and like redo stuff because especially the tower portion,
Uh-huh.
like every time you put a new color on, you screw it up somewhere else. You have to go back and touch up.
It
That's
looks awesome. I
yeah,
love the way it. I mean, you painted it pretty close to the box art. I mean, pretty damn close. And I mean, it's that's a nice piece on the table for sure.
yeah, it is. My right now my game table's set up fully for old world, and it's all the classic GW terrain. I got fortified manor, an extra tower, couple hills, couple trees, and the Garden of Moor. That's my current table.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, this thing was so fun. I mean, there's still inconsistencies. I could go make it better, but man, I'm happy with it. It looks good on the table. And
Yeah.
that is what matters.
Oh yeah.
Um, and then I finished up my backlog
Hmm.
with I had a Spearhead Vanguard box for Daughters of Cain that I picked up, but I only needed a couple things out of it. I needed 5 Heartseekers and 10 Witch Elves. That way I could run the kind of the list I kind of want to run in this new stupid list building world that we're in with that game.
Yeah.
Um, and then there was an extra Doomfire slash Dark Rider kit and the Iron Scale Melusi. I'm like, man, I really don't need these. I could paint them up. I was thinking like even I grabbed square bases. I was gonna paint them up and put them in Old World.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Get some Dark Riders, man.
I have a unit of Dark Riders, but I don't play a lot of infantry in that.
How
Uh,
many Dark Riders you got? 5.
I just got 5 right now.
Hey, make it bump that up to 10. Pump them numbers up.
Well, see, I thought about that, but my one friend and clubmate Quentin,
Yeah.
his only like I have so many fancy armies. His only army is Dark Elves, and I was like, hey, do you have some of these? He's like, yeah, I have Doomfires. I don't have like I the Melusi Iron Scale could just be a Blood Rock Medusa easily. Like he was low on it, and like he's still building his army. I'm like, here, just take them. Like I don't need them because I won't. I'd rather just spam Witch Elves in my Dark Elf army.
Right. Right. Right.
I'll probably buff up those numbers eventually, but I'm also kind of like, man, maybe I'll get some of like those alternate sculpts from Raging Heroes. Like I like
Oh,
those. So just to mix it up a little bit. But I thought about, like I said, I thought about doing the whole box, but I just need these two to be happy. The other two went to a friend, and with that, no backlog right now until that stupid Stormcast terrain piece comes in that I ordered.
how did you feel about that? Now I can't remember. Did you paint up some Raging Heroes already?
Yes. I let me get back to us here. I did. I painted up. I was actually using them for my or not Anvil Guard. Yeah, my Anvil Guard army because
Hmm.
I chose based upon like all my what's that game called? The Sigmar tabletop role playing game.
Oh, that's
I know.
what can
Wow,
I
my
think of
brain.
it right now? I know, Jesus. It's too early in the morning.
It is.
Tell
It
me.
is. But yeah. But like I was like after what I did with the story there with some people online, I decided to make an Anvil Guard army because that's where my character went. Even though she was a witch elf, she sided with Anvil Guard, not Marathi Kane. And I was like, this is a good time to get those models because they have a lot of female only sculpts that don't exist, and that
Hmm.
way I can make it sort of the witch elves who left the cult but still stayed of Harkron. They just grab different weapons and that sort of stuff. Um,
Soulbound.
Soulbound, thank you.
Hmm.
But yeah, but I had a plethora. They're now moved over to my Daughters of Cain since Anvilgard officially died, which is it's fine. I have a lovely cities army now, living cities army.
That is so shitty though.
What?
That is so shitty though. Like this is the one you pick, and they're like, like it's
Well,
just naturally that'll happen.
I, 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 to be fair, I thought when the new book came out that we'd keep Harkonnen, but I get
Mhm.
it. It's not technically a city of Sigmar.
Yeah.
And I like the Anvil Guard. That was my favorite. But like I said, the paint schemes matched my Daughters of Cain because I was using them as allies anyway, so it's fine. Just put some back in fantasy, put some for my Daughters of Cain, even though allies still don't exist, but they look cool. So, but I like
Yeah.
the sculpts. They're a little bit too true scale. Is my only downside. But whatever. It's not that big a deal. It's close enough, and they have some pretty cool mounted sculpts, which, like I say, it just looks like witch elves riding horses. So I'm like, probably go for that.
Nice.
Last bit of hobby. I had a game last night of some fantasy, old world.
Ooh.
Yeah, got my. I think it's the first time I got my full actual Bretonian list out in a game. Played against my friend Tom and his. He was doing the Wolves of the Sea. There was a couple pieces that were proxies,
Oh,
but
we switched it up then. So we do have a chaos player around. That's good.
we do. So it was pretty good. Man, the list he brought had so much unbreakable in it that like I would charge in, but like it wasn't doing a lot of damage back. It was just like we just ran at each other and then just pushed a little bit until someone's unit broke free. Unfortunately, it was his, and then he was able to turn and just started being able to take out my stuff. Because you get Bretonian in the flank, it's over.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was good though. It's nice to get some dice out and roll that. He's been gone for a few weeks, so it was good.
Very good.
Yeah. Well, with all the hobby talk out of the way, the most important question of the whole podcast for you, Neil. How's your lawn? Give me like juicy lawn details.
Since the last time we chatted. So it is like the grass is kind of fallen over
Oh, okay.
because it is cold outside for those of you who are not in this part of the country.
Mm-hmm.
And it's supposed to be warm back up. And so who knows, maybe this weekend, maybe tomorrow, we'll get out there, we'll buzz it down a little bit. But sitting in my driveway right now is a 26-foot camper that has been moved back into the and I think we're going to try and sell that. So that is currently in the way of my lawn cutting. Not on my lawn, but it's next to it. So
Mhm.
it still can happen. But that's my excuse. I got to get that thing sold. So
That's fair.
So hey, an internet, if you're looking for a 26-foot camper,
Yeah.
come on down to Neil's Camper Emporium, and we'll make you a sweet deal.
There you go. There you go. You just got to be in the northeastern Ohio area, or
Mhm.
willing to drive there with a hitch.
Yeah, please pick it up. Yeah, drive it right off the lot.
Mm-hmm. Ready to go. He'll even flush the crapper for you,
That's right.
or he'll leave it full, whatever you pay more for.
Yeah, whatever you're into.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, that's good. That's good. Well, today is a kind of a fun little topic here. We're approaching the holiday season, and not that our most beloved of miniature games company doesn't do this all year long,
Mhm.
but FOMO, those boxes, all those pretty releases that keep coming out, and I have to say it is incredible, not just for a miniatures gaming company, but for any company to have pretty much a new release week after week after week after week. I think I can't remember. There's been less than on one hand probably of weeks where it's a 2 week pre-order this past year.
Yeah.
So Neil, you and I have both been through. We get caught up. We're fanboys. Like, let's not be sore about it. We're fanboys. We like Warhammer.
Yeah.
I like getting Warhammer stuff. But as we've matured and moved on, we got over the FOMO.
Mhm.
So
I at one point in my life was building towards having every single army, at least. Like I was trying to work towards like, okay, oh well, here's what I want. Like before I even touch 40K or anything else, I was like, I won't even touch any of those games until I have everything for Sigmar. Which is I'd probably mortgage my house to do that. But
yeah.
that's what I was working towards. The first step was trying to have a death army, trying to have one in each alliance, and then moving forward from there. So we did not make it, thankfully. But at one point in my life, that was the goal.
No, that's fair. I surprisingly still don't have one for each Grand Alliance, but I know that goal. It's still kind of in my head. Like, you should just get the Death Army. You have one of everything else at least. Um, I surprisingly was not setting out to have one of every army. Not that I have one of every army, but I have more armies than I thought I would because you see pretty releases, you want to buy, you get inspired, you see that new books, that new battle tome, you go to events. But yeah, it's an easy trap to fall into, and I think today we're just going to talk about like how to help people get over that. Not saying don't buy Warhammer, like go buy Warhammer, have fun, like do it within your financial means, but I guess, Neil, what was the last FOMO box? Let's call it the FOMO box, fear of missing out, or just release whatever, what have you. That
I bought into that I probably could have held back.
yes. That you're like, screw it, I want all this right now, and like just in case.
Oh man, it's been a while now. I have to think about that. Probably, I want to say my Death Army.
Okay.
Like I was, I this is probably second edition AOS, so we're going back a little ways now.
Hmm.
Um, but I probably didn't need a Death Army at all. This was back in my like, whatever, and so I had a couple of models lying around. I'm like, let's do a whole bunch of this, and so in came the Christmas gifts, and now I started trading models and everything, and then before I know it, I had like 4,000 points of death. So
That's a lot of death too. Yeah.
hold on one second.
Okay. Yeah. No worries. Neil's got a little kitty alert here. He's having a good time. I like hearing the cat in the background. That's all I got to say. There he is. Oh,
I had a cat screaming to get out of my room. So.
that's fine. It was kind of cute. I like it. No, that's entirely fair. I'm trying to think my last real FOMO box. The first one that comes to mind, it's within the past couple of years, was the Horus Heresy box when it went all plastic, or not mostly plastic. That box looks so good, and I bought it immediately. It was, I want to say it wasn't poorly priced, but I bought it and I painted it up eventually, and I have it. I still only have one person in the area to play with.
Yeah.
So it was one of those, I bought it because I wanted it. I'm like, man, this is cool. I don't want to not miss out on this. This is such a great deal. And then build and paint it, and I play it once a year, maybe twice a year, because the people I have around me, which is fine, but
Uh,
I could have waited essentially, and maybe just done it that way. Trying to think, looking over at my stuff. Last real, like maybe FOMO army. You know what? It's got to be the. It would probably be the Bretonian army actually that I just finished,
yeah.
because I was
Well, you get caught up in the excitement with the
I did
old world company too. Yeah.
I knew I was buying the Tomb King box because I had a Tomb King army, and I was just gonna add to it, and I'd get the book, but I ended up buying both of those boxes. That's the true latest FOMO I had. So so yeah, within the past year, it's like I said, it still happens. Neil, you could have
Yeah.
one, in a couple, like a month or two, and you're just like, ah, shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And I gotta say, amazing idea when you buy an army like that, right? It's not your primary army, not your first love, right? To do the tail foil warlords to force you into making sure that army is together and ready to go, and all that. So it's a good move.
Good, good. Yeah, it got through it, but like, and I said, I'm playing it. Thankfully, it's one of my few old world specific armies with the bases. So, but yeah, but essentially, how do you get over FOMO, Neil? What clicked in your brain to go, I don't need to buy everything. Maybe there's a few things. And like I said, for instance, anytime there's an old world release, I buy the book and the cards.
Mhm.
Mostly because I just want to have them all. And I know those cards go away and they don't come back typically, it feels like.
Yeah.
So like there is a bit of, if I don't get it now, I won't get it type feeling.
Yeah.
But I'm not buying whole armies every single time. So, but like in your brain, what clicked eventually to go, I don't need this. I can wait.
Um,
Or if I miss out, it's fine.
come to think of it too, like I had a Zinch army that was very much. I remember I was in the shop, and and Matt upsells me because he's like, Dave was in here buying a bunch of models and everything. I'm like, man, he's getting models. I need to get models, right? So I bought Lord of Change because Lord of Change, man, that just came out, and
Yeah.
how cool is that Lord of Change anyway?
Good model.
But yeah, so that was another one for me for sure. Like just a Zinch army for no reason that I think I played twice. I don't know. But so for me, that's kind of the realization that I am running out of shelf space, and all these things are staring at me, but I'm not doing anything with them. So at that point, it was time to start to slow down and narrow down. Like the other thing too, is as I'm buying books for all these armies that I have and everything, because I'm buying them every time they come out. But then I'm buying the book, I'm reading through the book. Maybe I start playing that army a little bit, maybe not. I might just go back to whatever I'm really enjoying. So
Mm-hmm.
I hate to see my models just gathering dust on a shelf somewhere. So that's what started to kind of slow it down for me. And then I'm like, the problem was too is I had so many armies, and I am not a smart guy. So I can't keep the rules for every single one of these armies just in my head. Like I can't just put it on and start playing. So if I wanted to do that, what I had to do then is I had to go back and just really just kind of grind through rules and everything before I could even think about putting them on the tabletop and being even halfway competitive. Because at that point in my life too, I was doing a lot of events, a lot of tournaments,
Yep.
things like that. And it was very hard to switch back and forth and maintain any level of competitiveness at my ability. And
Right.
so that was another thing that kind of slowed it down for me. It's just like, hey, if we're going to be doing this and we're going to be going to tournaments and stuff, then why don't we just kind of start narrowing down and really focusing on one army and really getting to know it. Not unlike somebody I know who plays a lot of witch elves.
Yeah. It's is the great sadness of my hobby life that I have so many fun armies I could just pull out and play, and I'm just like, nah. It's sad not as in like a boohoo. It's sad as in it's pitiful, Chuck. Why did you even do that? Like, well, because
Yeah,
I liked it, but
yeah.
no, I hear. Yeah, when we were going to events, that's when I was more inclined to actually use different armies, too.
Mhm.
Like I would tend to default to Daughter's Cane for the bigger events, but I'd go to smaller events or 1 day events. Like, oh, let me pull out this army. Let me pull out this army. Now I was like you. I was buying every book.
Yeah.
Um, Actually, it wasn't even like it was before third edition even showed their style of books, but
Yeah.
near the end of two, granted, Neil, I think you and I will both always buy a narrative campaign book.
Mhm.
There's no doubt about that. That's what we both love. But
Mhm.
for the battle tomes, if I had the army physically, which I have a lot over here, I would buy the book because that kind of comes from the old, back when we used to play fantasy.
Yeah.
Books weren't coming out hot and fast, so when it came out, you just give me all of it, give me everything I can, and
Yeah.
it's yours forever.
Mhm.
You kind of like I want to complete my personal collection, but the just the way the battle tomes went from so robust to so slim on the narrative, and we're just more about here's the rules, here's this. Like, okay, you wasted a page on points that don't really matter because it's in the app.
Yeah.
Here's all this stuff. It's like, I started to realize that those books, I didn't need it for every army, and
Right.
that books are always plentiful. They
Yeah, and you
always
always
keep,
get them whenever you want them. Yeah.
yeah. So
They're always on shelves in hobby stores as well because they usually over purchase those, and so they're hanging out.
yeah, and to be
Nobody wants to end up with too many of those things too, though. So
yeah, and yeah, to be fair too, like even my local game store, he'll buy them semi regularly if I ask for it. He doesn't buy them all the time, but he still has first edition Sigmar battle tomes because people didn't buy them, and he
right.
usually sells them for like buy two get one, or he'll give it to us to give away at events. So
Yeah.
if I really want it for the lore, I can buy it at the end of the life cycle. If I'm like, oh, you know what, there was good lore in this.
Yeah.
So that's the first, I guess, FOMO. I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna buy every book for every army. Also, I'm out of space with books. It feels like
Yeah.
they're heavy and they're big and take up space. So I'm just gonna buy for the, Daughter's Cane for sure.
Mhm.
Maybe the other elf ones just to get the elf story, but that's
I think there's I know for you and for me as well. Like I have a little bit of a like completionist
yes.
issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I like things to be complete. I think you have it more than I like, or maybe just in a different way, right? But like if I get an army, I want everything for that army. At least one unit of it.
Gotcha.
Because not maybe not all the heroes and things like that when we're talking Sigmar, but I want every unit so that when I see the army, I want maybe even more than what's necessary so that I can play around with list building and things like that, right? Or if this gets
Gotcha.
good at some point, then I have it. It's on the shelf, and then I don't have to worry about buying stuff unless something new comes out, and that's manageable. But
Yeah.
that's like early on in Sigmar, man, I was just so into it. Not that I'm not into it now, but like it was a borderline obsession.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. We
like
were.
everything that was coming out, I'm like, I want everything for this game. And I want it like even if the game or the edition goes away, that I can just pull everything right back out and like, just see the completeness of the world on my tabletop and on my shelves.
Right.
Um, you know.
No, you're right. I do have that in a different way. I'm not so concerned. I like what I like out of armies. Now,
Mhm.
granted, that with the exception, I'll take one army for each game system. So, obviously, Daughters of Cain for Sigmar, High Elves for Old World. And I'm like, I want as much as possible across the board for things. And
Mhm.
I do. And I have, in each of these armies, I could run so much variety because I just have so much of it. And I really enjoy painting it. So it's a fun little do unit here and there. Um, however, I'm not typically buying every unit for every army that I have because there's some I'm just like that unit looks dumb. I don't care. Like I don't like Balloon Boys. I have three because they were in a Vanguard box, so that's it. Um, However, what I will do is if you look at the recent purchase of the Stormcast, actually I've seen people online calling it the Stormcast Outhouse. Have you seen that? The memes for the
Oh, yes,
terrain
yes, yes,
piece?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yeah.
If there's something that the army can take, and it's free. So essentially, if there's army specific terrain, or if there's endless spells for that army, and it comes out later, I will buy it. I don't like that terrain piece. I'm probably
Yeah.
not going to play Stormcast. I have no idea how it's going to fit in my box with my Stormcast, but I want to have it so I can have that army. I want to be able to put that army on the table to play a game in its fullest form. Not necessarily be able to make any version of the army. Just I want my army on the fullest form to be able to do it. So that's where my completionist kind of comes into that, and like I said, I'm buying all the old world books, but that's also too so we can like review them and have them, and they're inspirational to me.
You should paint it green and gray like your classic American outhouse uh, porta potty.
That's well,
Sometimes they're blue.
they're
Sometimes they're
blue.
blue.
There's sometimes blue. Well, actually, I could kind of reverse it, put the white on the sides and the green up top, and like make it look like it's just like copper changing.
Yeah.
Like maybe no. Um, it'll be terrain. I'll build it and paint it in a freaking day because it's terrain. Um, but yeah. So like for me, like whenever my FOMO kind of just over trigger, like yeah, it's like realizing you have a lot, but then there's the realization of okay, I'm not getting to many events anymore. Especially like even now that the event, like the game itself, has leaned more towards the tournament style play, which is fine, and those people love it, and hope they are enjoying it. They seem to be, um, despite some of the moaning on Twitter here and there, but that's usually about other things.
Yeah.
Um, so it's like, okay, so this game system, Sigmar, isn't exactly what I want out of it. So why rush? Just like I said, just kind of refocus in on the one thing that I love about this game, and just hang on to that and enjoy this ride.
Yeah.
That's really helped. Also having, this, everyone out there, if you have a wife or kids or husband, or pets, or a house,
Yeah. Yeah.
eventually too, you start going, I'm gonna put money into these things or other
Yeah.
hobbies. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, but also it's like, we've had 9 years of following the trends of this, with
Mhm.
the exception of, global shutdown of things. We kind of know the flow of what's going to be around for a while, what's not,
Mhm.
so like if there is something like a one-off model or a made to order, like man, I should get this because I know it's only here for this limited time. It's pretty open and clear about that. Great.
Right.
I don't need to buy an army at launch. I don't need to buy a dual starter set that has a new hero in it when I only want that hero and I don't need anything else in that box. You don't need
Right.
it. You don't have to. It's fine.
Yeah. I
But yeah,
do like the idea though too of GW doing like one-off models that are rare.
I do
Almost
too.
like magic cards and stuff like that. Now, of course, that's just only going to increase your FOMO, right?
Right.
Something like that does pop out, but you can still decide. Do I want this thing? Do I not? And if you do want it, then it's cool to have it, and you have like some kind of rare, model that only got produced for a little while or whatever. But that is leading us down the path of going back into FOMO and not breaking out of it.
Right.
But I do like the idea of that too. So
Well, if it's not breaking the bank, here's the thing. If like it's every week, here's a rare model and it's $60, it's like, no, that's no.
right, that's
Like
different. Yeah.
if you're at an event and like, hey, here's a $20 model you can only buy at this event, because they do have those. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool. So yeah, like sure, like that's you know that you have a limited chance to get that,
Right.
um, but man, like too, and it's hard to get. Like I get why people get into the FOMO too of it because it's hard to predict when things are going away now. Like Stormcast stuff, half of it's just not being produced now because it's not in the book for
Right.
balancing reasons. I'm not that not bemoaning that fact. It's just, but it sucks
Yeah.
because those were cool models.
Yep. Yeah, I've got a bunch of them sitting downstairs right now, so I can I can talk about that all day.
Yep.
But I mean, that's something that's going to happen. So, but that's also like I think that feeds into the FOMO as well. It's just like, oh man, like I need to have all this kind of stuff if I want to go back and play this edition. Then whatever. But Stormcast and everything, Stormcast is just because the models go away doesn't mean you can't use them as
Right.
the same thing, just with different, they look different, right? Same thing as like, Primaris Marines versus, whatever, when they came out with those. I mean, you could just say the smaller guy was your Primaris Marine if you really wanted to, right?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not in a tournament or something like that, but they're still useful. So
Yeah, exactly. And it's also like, yeah, looking at what you have and going, wow, I have something cool already. Let me
right.
focus on that. Not to mention too, I get it. Most people have backlogs. Like, some people have a reasonable backlog. Like,
Chuck, everybody has backlogs.
I don't.
You are the only man
I know.
on this planet that
I know.
doesn't.
I know. But like, well, there's different levels. Like, some people, it's like, oh, I have like 2-3 boxes of this thing. Like, okay, like that's fine. Or I have this army planned and it's sitting here and it's been here for a while. Sure, that's fine. And different people have different timing. But then sometimes I see people and I'm like, are you sure you aren't just collecting Warhammer and
Right.
not building it? Like, it's just like
Terry.
massive. Yeah, Terry. Call spade a spade, I guess.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, like, but that's fine. But like, if you have a big backlog, it's one of those things you need to look at and go like, did you actually want these or did you buy into the FOMO? And it's not to shame you, but it's just to help you realize like, you don't have to buy everything right when it comes out. Even if they say like, okay, oh, there's these Christmas battle boxes. Neil, I've looked at the Christmas battle boxes. I can't tell you what's different from the last ones. I don't even remember. Like, it's sure they're good deals if you want to get into the army, but like, don't buy them because you're like, oh, well, it's such a good deal. I gotta have it. And like, well, okay, it's great. That's a good deal for Auric War Clans. Do you play Auric War Clans? No, but such a good deal. Like, well, then don't.
I'm sure there is a whole, I don't know, class you could take, a marketing class on just the way they package these things and everything.
Yeah,
like
they're
those
packaging.
Christmas boxes, the art that goes on the front and everything. Just the fact that something's in the cellophane wrapping, you grab that and it feels like there's a psychological thing there somewhere. Like even I pulled out that box last night for my kid to build, and it's just like just having the box. Like it's like, ah man, look at this. This is cool. This is sweet,
Yep.
And peeling that cellophane off for the first time.
Yeah.
Like, there's a little bit of a crack addiction to that. I don't know what it is, but there's something in the monkey brain that really likes that.
Oh, it's I 100% because man, whenever I have a new army sitting on my pile here to my left, man, I'm excited. But then the longer it draws out, the more I'm just like,
Yeah.
I fucked up.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, the marketing's solid and it's fun. I think the thing is too, like you and I were the type of people like tactical things. Like I'm going to buy a book whenever I want to buy a book. I want physical models, like that sort of stuff. But it's, tempering yourself and knowing what you need and what you don't need.
Yeah. I now wait too. I don't buy the books for my armies unless I know I'm playing that army.
Yeah.
I don't immediately just get it the day it comes out on pre-order or whatever. Like I'm sitting on a Tau army right now. I can't even play 10th. They've got their book. But when the time comes for me to play Tau and get my 40K army out again, I will go buy the book.
Right.
But that's got to happen first. So that want to has to happen. So there was a time where the minute it came out, I'd be right on the shelf,
Exactly.
But I just I don't want to put funds into something I'm not gonna immediately use. So
Yep. So yeah, like limiting your hobby budget is a good way to get over FOMO. Like if there's going to be those Battle Force boxes at the end of the year, they're going to be between 210 and 250. Just budget for it ahead of time if that's what you really want to do. But as you're doing that, you're not giving into the other FOMO releases that you may not need along the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's trying to think what else is a good way to get over FOMO, like budgeting, realizing you have enough, just being honest with yourself. Like, if everybody out there wants to really shock themselves, open up the GW website. Don't sign in. Don't sign in at all because you don't want to accidentally click the checkout button. And just go through everything that you have, like unit by unit, and just add to cart. Whether it's painted or not, add to cart. Like even if you bought it as a battle box and it was cheaper, oh, it's these units, add to cart,
Oh God.
and then see
There-
what
there
that
be
looks.
people who have to have therapy after doing something like this, Chuck.
It's a shock to the system. I remember my one friend. She was going through it. She's like, she wasn't doing it on purpose. She's like, how much do you have? I'm like, I have a lot. I was like, she's like, did you pay full price for all this stuff? And I was like, no. Like a lot was given to me, a lot from this, and she was just going through stuff, and she's like, just really getting into it, like just staring at my models. It's like, how you going? And she's like, I'm over $10,000. I'm like, please stop.
Yeah, please stop. Yeah.
Yeah, please stop. You're not even through like, oh my God, it was such a small amount. You know what I mean? Like I felt like, but but like that's the way to just go like, oh, I have enough. Your army is Ken enough.
Yeah, I would not want to see that number. No way. Yeah.
No, absolutely not. And then
My
there's
wife doesn't want to see that number either. So.
oh, not until we pass on and then want to sell it.
Right.
Unfortunately, we painted it, so we took the value down.
Right. Exactly.
Don't forget, there's other things too. Like if you're like me and like you always feel like you need to be painting, like I'm working on getting out of that because I'm just so used to always painting something.
Yeah.
Like it's just been a default for the past 5-ish years or something. That's like that's I'm putting my effort into other hobbies right now just to mix it up. But there is other things you can paint too. So don't feel like you have like oh I'm not just gonna buy this new box because it's new and I want it. I need to paint something. Like so you could. We were talking about painting tables. Go buy a terrain piece for the army that you like, or for the game system that you like. Paint that up. Do something different. Yeah. So like I'm not saying don't buy stuff. Just don't feel like you have to buy all the stuff right away all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
I can't think of much else to talk about though with the topic.
Yeah.
If I'm honest, just
I think that probably wraps it up there. So
yeah, I mean it's a journey and it's a struggle. We all go through it. Like we're in a consumerist world and we like to consume things. That's just it, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But don't feel like you have to buy everything all the time.
watch out for the dangers of FOMO.
Yes,
It is dangerous.
dangerous and expensive.
Yes.
Oh boy, actually, it's what's new and it's even nice. We're recording this on Saturday morning because we're a little bit delayed this week, which is fine. I don't know what's on pre-order this week. I can't even remember.
Oh yeah.
I used to be like, tell me what's on pre-order next week. I need to know.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, nope, miss it. I forgot.
You know what else helps FOMO? Not having interest in the release.
Yeah,
That's where I'm at right now too.
I remember even like when I was probably like most of my FOMO, I would message the chat that we were in, just going like, all right, boys, another week of something I don't care about. Wallet's safe. And it's just like,
Right. Yeah.
It's like, well, it's not really healthy, but okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, I got a lot to do. You got a lot to do.
Mhm.
I get to travel next week for work, and I don't want to.
Mhm.
But we will be back next week in time for the podcast. And I'll have time in a hotel room to figure out a fun topic for us, Neil.
Sounds good.
All right, buddy. Take care. Avoid the FOMO. Stay Stormcast strong, and happy hobby.
All right.